Hello everyone and welcome to the Hampton Bins. I know I haven't seen you guys here in a while, but expect more of these coming soon. I am going to be making regular bins content again. Hopefully you guys are here for it. It will be mostly books because that is what I have space for currently. My clothing death pile is still a little bit too thick to be digging in the clothes, and you can see here that I only have one other person in the bins with me right now, digging through the books, so there's not really a whole lot of competition for me in my favorite genre, digging through the bins. So I am one of those people that like to go through and organize the books. I get a little frustrated when there's another person on the other side who is pushing books onto me, or their digging is causing books to fall onto my hands, so that is why I am moving away. So that way that's not an issue anymore. This was cute. It wasn't used, but I have like something similar already in my eBay store already, and that hasn't sold. So because of the fact that I have one similar that hasn't sold, I'm just going to leave that behind. I'm moving all the way to the far end to start. We are starting off with a Brandon Sanderson book, so that will be a book that goes up on Whatnot. I do have a three-way selling strategy. I pull books to sell on Whatnot immediately. I have books that I will sell on eBay, and then I have books that I will resell to Second and Charles. Currently, how I'm going to be picking is books specifically for Whatnot and books specifically for eBay, because again, I'm not trying to add to my death pile, and I haven't sold to Second and Charles in a while, so I'm not 100% sure what they are and are not taking. So until I can dial that in, I'm going to hold back on that for a while. But I'm just right now moving stuff out of the way so I can start organizing the books. I am one of those weirdos that when I go through the books, I will put them up, spine up. That's another Forgotten Realms books. That one actually is going on eBay. Most of the science fiction and fantasy books I will put on Whatnot first, unless it is worth over $10. If it's worth over $10, then it just goes directly onto eBay. Unless I don't know what it is, and sometimes they end up on Whatnot and I still get close to eBay prices. That medicinal plants books, I put it aside, so the way I organize my cart is definite yes go into the cart, maybes go up on top. That was a maybe. I wanted to look that up. It ended up going back into the bins because the sell-through rate was so slow. This is Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court by Mark Twain. This is a Reader Digest book. If this was in better shape, I would have picked it up, but because of the damage to it, I did end up leaving that behind. And also I found a more interesting copy of the same book. Not the same book as in like another Reader's Digest, but a more vintage copy that is more interesting, of a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. I think I'm saying that title right. I've said it now so many times it doesn't feel like a real title anymore. Have you ever had that happen when you say a word too many times and it doesn't feel like a real word anymore? Or like if you try to spell something too hard and then it just looks wrong? Maybe that's a me problem. But I am continuing to go through here. I do look at every single book. I try to dig all the way down to the very bottom of the bin. I do this, one, because it makes it so people can, that's a book I looked at real quick. It's a cookbook. I thought about buying this just because it's funny and it's a cookbook, but I did leave it behind because there wasn't much sales history on eBay, so I did leave that behind. But I do like to turn everything spine up so that way it makes it easier for other people to sort. I actually have had the manager of this bins come up to me and say thank you so much. I always love it when you're here because it makes it so much easier for us at the end of the day, which was really nice to hear. And so I'm glad it helps out. And then also by me turning all the books to make it easy to shop, hopefully that makes it so a few more books end up getting sold instead of either recycled or in a landfill or whatever else happens to them once that bin gets pushed into the back. So that is why I do it. I also find stuff at the bottom of the bins. I have found gift cards with money on them at the bottom of the bins. So this is an Anne Rice book. If it was in better condition, I would have picked it up, but as you can see, somebody colored through it. Also, the binding was broken, so that unfortunately had to go back into the bin. But this is Jean Stein. So this is part of the Inner Strong Vampire series. So normally I will put that kind of stuff aside, and if I find more of them to where I can make a bundle and list it on eBay, I will buy all of them and do that. So I put that up at the top of my cart. So the top of my cart is for maybes, and the bottom big basket of my cart is for definites. So that was a maybe that ends up becoming a yes because I find multiple. This is another Forgotten Realms book that is a definite for me. That was the Icefall trilogy, and I ended up finding all 3 books in the bin. So that's amazing. That is always like a blessing when you're at the bins and you manage to find an entire series at the bins. That's just really cool. Y'all are getting like amazing views of my hair because I forgot to tie it back, and this is definitely a POV because, you know, my hair's in my face all the time, which is why you guys normally see me when I'm working with it up. I would cut it all off, but the boy prefers long hair, and so I get to keep it. Little Avatar book, Nickelodeon. If I find a bunch of those, yeah, I would probably buy that. And I'm sure there are some of you guys who are like, oh my god, that book is worth so much money, as I'm tossing it back and my hair is now fully in the way. And that's because I don't scan. So I am not an FBA seller. I am not a scanner. I pick books by what I personally know in my own brain is to be valuable, or from my experience reselling. I have had lots of experience selling it. I know there are plenty of people who can't sell the books that I pick up and I sell regularly. There's just enough room for everybody here. I just thought these little guides are interesting. I love how nobody buys and sells guides anymore. This is a vintage fairy tale book. I thought it was cute, but again, it was too damaged. When I pick up children's books, I do like to pick up very vintage children's books because they can be very valuable, but they have to not be colored in or on or chewed in or on, because that is what children do. Children. And they children all over the books a little bit too hard, which is why vintage children's books are valuable, is because there aren't that very many of them that are good. This is another instance of that. I guess preteen or teenager decided to write little love notes to her favorite characters inside of the book and all over the book. And so that normally would have been a pickup for me. I actually really liked Soul Eater as an anime until the very last episode, because the last episode was weird and stupid. Not quite as weird as the last episode of Evangelion, but, you know, kind of on the same par. Animes have a tendency to not end well. My favorite anime is the only one that I've ever found that actually ends nicely. This is a definite pickup. That was Thunder, by the way. That's the reason why it is a little light here, is because of the fact it was thunderstorming and pouring down rain outside. That is a Time and Life book, the one I picked up. It is the Unknown Mysteries series. I think there are over 30 books in that series, but even the individual books can sell well, and I have never once seen a Time Life series donated where it was just one, except for today, in which case I found one of the Time Life Old West books, and it was just a single one by itself. Normally when people donate, they donate everything. That's the little golden book, Winnie the Pooh little golden book. I would have picked that up if it hadn't been chewed on. I do like to do little golden books shows on Whatnot. They have been successful for me the 2 times I've done them, and I will probably be doing another one this month if I can find enough little golden books. There's some Tony Williamsburg playing cards. There's all kinds of stuff that gets thrown into these book bins. The book bins are placed like right next to the cash registers. So a lot of people just throw the stuff they don't want into the very end book bin, which is frustrating. This is Jane Linksold. This is part of her Firestarter saga. I call it the Wolf Saga because all the covers are wolves. I know that's not the premise or the magic of the book because it is a fantasy series, but it's a Firestarter saga. I do find more than one of these, but these are going to go on Whatnot first. This is Big Hero 6, which is a Disney movie. If that doesn't sell on eBay, I can always pull that and sell it to Second and Charles, and I'd be more than happy. This I thought about getting for myself. Origami is one of the few things that my Japanese grandmother did teach me. And I would like to know how to do this, but I actually decided to let this go. Now that I'm watching this back, I realize for 25 cents I should have just picked it up. Because it would have been cute. But I did let it go. If I find it again, I'll probably buy it and keep it that time. But I am just digging through, going my happy little way. Here's another one of those Unknown Mysteries books from Time Life. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I ended up finding about 27 of these books. And I'll show you a little bit later what the comps were for that many at the end. This is actually really cool. I actually thought this was like a 1980s copy of this book because that's what the cover looked like to me, but when I looked at it a little bit harder, it's actually from 1962. It's an Alfred Hitchcock short story collection. That'll go up on Whatnot. If this was in better shape, I would have picked this up. I do pick up Star Trek books when I find them. I will lot them together and sell them on eBay, or I will just put them up on Whatnot. Again, science fiction and fantasy. Here's a nice big thick stack of these boys. So I'm just making a pile on the top there to see how many I can find. Just to hold on to it. Yes, I do see there's another one in there. This is another, again, vintage cookbooks. I will look through them and see if it's something interesting to sell, or if I'm interested to maybe try to sell it. There's another one. The last Time Life series I sold was the Civil War set, and I did find a complete set. Well, I shouldn't say I found. The boy found a complete set of Civil War books at a church book sale and was like, hey, you should buy these. And I was like, well, are they complete? And he's like, yeah, because I didn't take the time to check to see if it was the correct number of books. And he did, and that sold for $100. So not all Time Life is like that. A lot of Time Life collections are not valuable, but there are some that are. The Civil War set is one, and then this Unknown Mysteries one. And this is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It is a photo novel, so it's basically movie stills with story written into them from the movie. See, that Star Trek book's in great shape. So both of those books are going to go up on Whatnot. If you want to know all the books I picked up for Whatnot, or want to maybe buy them for yourself, I will put a pinned comment and link down below, because that video, that haul for my Whatnot show will actually already be out by the time this video comes out. So you can join us and just geek out about books, or tell me I suck at picking, or I don't know, you do you. That French Laundry book was just beautiful. It looked like a gorgeous coffee table book. It's actually a cookbook. And so I thought, because it looks lovely, that it would be valuable, but it's one of those deceptively nice books that actually do not sell well. So unless I was going to keep it, that actually ended up going back in the pile, because I was not going to keep that. This is weird. So this is a sealed copy of audio CD of Beatrix Potter stories. What makes this interesting is, one, it's sealed. Two, all of the stories are being audio narrated by Meryl Streep. And I ended up just putting it at the top of my cart to look it up, because I figured it's a new sealed audiobook, absolutely. And it has a very low sell-through rate on Amazon, and it has a low sell-through rate on eBay. But that's because there aren't very many listed, and all the ones that are listed for over $100. The ones on Amazon are listed for $200 some odd. So I'm going to put that up and hope for the best. That is me being very sad that that book is in not better condition, because I would have kept that for myself. I do like to collect the vintage Steinbecks when I find them. I love John Steinbeck. He can be a little depressing at times, but I feel like he is one of the greatest American novelists of the last century, and he does just beautiful scene work, and I really love his work. And Don't worry, I do see the video game over there, The Age of Sail. It is complete. I did end up putting it back, and that's because it doesn't have a very high sell-through rate, and she would have taken away from me anyway. Another golden book. I will buy this because it's in good shape, and that one will go in the Whatnot show that I will do later this month. So anytime I have found a video game at this Goodwill, they take it away from me if they realize it's a video game. If they think it's a DVD, they'll let me buy it. If it's obviously a video game, which that's obviously a video game, they will take it away from me and tell me that I can't buy it here, that this is actually getting pulled and going to go over to the computer store, which is where they have all the computers and video games. They separate that out and like have a ridiculous markup of it. And by ridiculous, I mean it's basically they're trying to get eBay prices in this little tiny store attached to the Goodwill, which is fine. I hope they do it. Good for them, but you can't resell really from that stuff. So I'm setting it aside in my cart so no one takes it in case it is valuable. It was not, so that's fine. Don't worry, I'm just trying to make space at this point. There's a table by the registers that I actually go and take everything and sort it into piles, like what's going on Whatnot, what's going on eBay, what's going to Second and Charles, and then I also do my counts. Some of the cashiers here have seen me enough and know that I can count, and so I will just tell them how many paperbacks I have and how many hardcovers I have, and they'll trust me and do that. Some of them don't do that, so I make sure to keep those in piles of 10 when I realize that the cashiers that normally are just like, congratulations, you have an elementary level of math skills, I'm going to check you out super fast, are here. Today was not one of those days, so I had everything in stacks of 10 for them. I have a giant thing of comic books that I probably have like 60 comic books to list that I have just not listed because I don't know what to do with them. I've tried listing comic books on eBay, and I guess because they're not graded, nobody wants to buy them. I don't understand. This is me picking out more of these unknown mystery time life books and putting them in my cart because I want all of them, and as I find them. I still haven't finished this one pile. If there are 4 bins, it normally takes me about 3 hours. This Doctor Who book is going to go up on Whatnot. Doctor Who does really well for me on Whatnot. Brian Jakes I will always pick up. That's part of his Redwall series. Brian Jakes is an author that I actually collect and have read myself, and we'll talk him up to no end. If you like Over the Garden Wall, if you like The Secrets of Nim, if you just want a cozy little animal fantasy story, Brian Jakes is where it's at. Here's another Gene Stein book, part of the Anna Strong. At that point I've found enough that I'm gonna just buy them all. But it does take me about 3 hours to do 4 bins. If there are 7 or 8 bins here, this is me looking at this really hard because I'm pretty sure this is the book I'm missing. So I bought a bunch of Christine Feehan books a long time ago, thinking that I was going to sell them in a lot, not realizing that there are like a bajillion different Christine Feehan books. And so what I ended up doing is just taking all of them to Second and Charles, and the ones that I was closest to finishing in an order, I kept, and that's the Drake Sisters, the Mermaid series. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this one book I randomly pulled out of this bin is the one book I'm missing. And it was. So that was awesome. So I now have 1 through 5 of the Drake Sisters available for sale in my eBay store. But that was great. I was able to get the marker off of it. I just need a little rubbing alcohol for that. Forgotten Realms book, that's going up on Whatnot. And again, just me going through here. But yeah, it does take me a little bit of a while to do this. And like I said, I do it because I found money, I have found gift cards at the bottom of the bins, and then I found lots of really good books doing it this way. Again, another book that I thought about getting for myself. It was really cute. It's a Find the Flat book, or Open the Flat book. If I had seen Amanda here earlier, I probably would have just handed this to her because she probably would have been able to put it in her whatnot, and I do feel like she is going to come up soon in this video. This is also a Kohl's Care book, which normally means there's like a little plushie that comes with it. And there's another Kohl's Care book as well. And nice little Good Housekeeping illustrated cookbook. I currently have one of these in my store. I don't think that exact one. I think I have an older version of that in my store that hasn't sold yet, so I'm not going to pick up another one if the other one hasn't sold. I do have some caveats as to what I will and will not pick up and sell. But so far this has been great because, man, just the Time Life books is worth it for me to have gone here today. So I am very, very excited with what I've been able to pick up so far just by finding the Time Life books. And that's part of the great things about the bins. The whole reason I've decided to come here is because of the fact that, like, I had a feeling I needed to show up today. And whenever I get a gut feeling that I need to thrift, I listen to it because it always points me in the right direction to hopefully making a decent amount of money. Now this book does not have its dust jacket, so that is definite a pass. It would have been a pass anyway, but there are some books that I will pick up without dust jackets. It honestly just depends on the book as to whether or not I will pick it up. Like if it's a signed first edition, yeah, I'm going to pick that up. That's the first book in the Firestarter saga, by the way. And I do believe we're about ready to get a special guest. This is a Scholastic. If it wasn't a Scholastic, but the original like Bionic Man story, I would have picked that up.
Hi.
Do you come here? Do you actually source here?
I mean, I've been working on my death file for forever, so.
Oh, I know, that's true.
So,
how are you?
Yeah. Well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I braved the rain.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah, no, it was nice looking at the parking lot and be like, oh, maybe it won't be so bad today.
Yeah. No, it was rough. Yeah, it was like so dark in the house that I was like, oh my gosh, it's 9 o'clock. I need to leave and actually go to work. But yeah.
So what are you looking for?
Modern fiction.
Okay. Outlander. Okay.
Yeah, just, normal stuff. And books, like textbooks and stuff that I can maybe scan and see if they're worth anything. But sometimes you have those days where you're just not really feeling like digging. Today's one of those days for me.
I mean, you can just wait until I'm done putting everything like this.
So that lovely lady is Amanda, Resell Maven, who was a guest speaker with me at Books and Beyond conference in Las Vegas. And when we met up there, we were roommates at the convention or conference, I should say. And we didn't realize that we live in the same city and we shop in the same stores, but we sell completely different genres of books. She sells primarily on Whatnot, I sell primarily on eBay. And she runs a very successful Whatnot business. She sells mostly, like she said, modern fiction, and she does a lot of plush, and she also sells a lot of children's books. And she's just really cool, and that just goes to show that there's enough for everyone. Like, we literally source the same places, and like she said, she was joking at the beginning, we're never at the bins on the same day, almost never. This is the first time I've gone to the bins on a Thursday, probably ever. Normally I source on Mondays or Tuesdays. Those are typically the days that there are fewer people around. I know they're more crowded on Fridays and Saturdays, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. So I'm just not interested in that. And so that's why I'm almost never here. That would normally be a book I would pick up to take to Second and Charles, but like I said, I'm just like not doing that right now, so I just left that behind. Here's another Jean Stein book. And yeah, so it was really cool to run into her, but that's why I always say there's like enough for everyone, even when there are other resellers here that source in the same places. We're both booksellers, but we're not looking for the same stuff. And so I thought about picking up this Pocket Guide to the Outdoors for Far Side of the Mountain because I remember loving this book. I thought about running away into the woods so many times, but I grew up on 6 acres of woods, so The woods has always been a safe place for me. Whenever my brain is too busy or I'm having a hard time focusing or I'm really stressed out, going for a walk in the woods has always been the thing that helps relax me and calms me down. That's another little golden book I'm going to pick up. So I thought about getting that, but it's not any information that I don't already know, and I don't need another book. I would have picked this up if it wasn't horribly damaged, but as you can see, it has had water damage, and so the cover has some severe curling there, and so I left that behind, but that would have been something I would have picked up to sell on Whatnot. And so I'm just going to go through and work more. There's Amanda over there at the other end, finding her own stuff. I'm a little jealous she found the Diana Gabaldon book, but that's okay. Again, I'm not worried about it. There's so much here. That's another Forgotten Realms book that's going to go up on Whatnot. And yeah, no, this was a really good day. She actually helped me pull a couple more of the mysteries books that she found over in those bins to the far side. So that's another really cool thing, is like if you build relationships with other resellers that maybe don't sell in the same genre, you guys can like look out for stuff for each other, because it just makes it go faster. Like if I can be like, hey, I'm looking for this series of black books, can you pull them for me? And she's like, hey, I'm looking for this kind of kids book, can you pull them for me? And then we just like swap at the end. It's really nice. So Amanda, if you're watching this, thanks for coming and saying hi to me, and I really hope that your Whatnot shows are doing amazing as you are. And yeah, you guys should definitely subscribe to her channel, or at least check it out just to give it a watch, just to see how else someone can sell on Whatnot and in a different genre, and how she kills it. So I'm going to actually end this video here. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and again, if you want to see the books that I picked up for Whatnot, that'll be on my book channel, which I will link up above and down below. And you guys will see the books that are going up on eBay in a listing video later on. So thanks for watching, and have a good day. Bye. Bye.